We're going to look at some small, tiny toys from the 1990s that can sell for some big bucks. We're going to show you some secrets and some insider information on how to make the most money out of them. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at a specific toy line from the 90s that's small, that's tiny, that fits in your pocket. Today we are looking at Polly Pockets and some of the insane values that some of these can go for. And if you wait to the end, I'll show you a secret how to distinguish old from new, as well as a site that you can use that will help you identify pretty much any one that was made and tell you if it's complete or not. For those of you who do not know what Polly Pockets are, this is what you're going to see from the outside. This is what I usually find shoved in a box, in a bag, a bunch of stuff, or at an estate sale or something like that. Flea markets, garage sales, these show up across the board. Most people do not realize the value that's in these. Now, in 1989, the first one was actually released for sale. It was licensed. And that was by a company called Bluebird. Bluebird ran the company until 1989 when Mattel took it over. So anything from 1989 past would be a Mattel one. And the sizes, the style, the look of the doll is completely different for the Mattel ones versus the Bluebird ones. So I said, we'll show you those at the end. I'll show you a good side as well. This is, though, what you are going to find. The dolls that you are going to see in them are teeny tiny little dolls like this. Every single one I have ever gotten, I have sold immediately. This is what the inside of this looks like. It's totally loaded with a little scape in here. This is the most sought after one outside of the box. This is the Party Time Birthday set. And it's compact, as you see. It originally came with 3 dolls. This one is complete. All the original ones are usually marked by Bluebird on the bottom with a date as well. Now, this one sells routinely for $400 or $500 complete, all the way up into this range here for $810. These are without the boxes. This is that sought after. Now, what's unique about this one is that it has stampers, ink stampers, so you can use like the cake, and on the bottom of it is a stamper, and you can use that to stamp that little emblem, the birthday party themes, onto other items with it. Highly collected set because of that, as well as the dolls, the little figures that go with it. Now, this is the Pretty Nails playset. All of these would be considered a playset. This actually had fingernails, so a girl could actually decorate her own fingernails with this set. Nail polish, the whole works. It has some, I guess they were stickers that would stick them onto the fingernails. Really interesting set. This one's fairly scarce. It doesn't show up in this condition with everything there. Now, usually when I find these, I find them in big lots. I don't think I've ever run into just one set or one single figure or anything else like that. It's usually a bunch of them all together. Now, here's the Children's Hospital playset. It's 100% complete. Many of these light up or have spring action or hidden compartments or something along that line. This is an excellent set. It's got a lot of small pieces. You can see the babies, the infant, the stroller, wheelchair. You've got the nurse and the patients there. This is another one of those sought-after sets. Some of these will sell pretty much immediately when you list them up. Now, here's another highly sought-after set. This is the Bowling Alley playset with the figures and the whole works. Most of these sorts, these buildings, were sold just like this. They open up and there's a whole play set with multi-layers inside. So you've got the top floor, the alley itself, you can close it and you have another setup as well. This one is very scarce. It does not show up very often. Almost $400. Now, just like any other company, they accepted licenses, and Disney did a whole bunch of stuff with them back in the original time frame with Bluebird, as well as with Mattel, and even including newer versions as well. This one varies from a couple $100 all the way up to what you see it here, $380. It just depends on how complete, the condition, and the day of the week, believe it or not. Here's another interesting set. This is the Fun Cruise set, vacation play set. It has everything you would want with it as well. Does look to be complete. It has the floating dock, little jet ski, the paddle boat, pretty much everything you would want from this. Being complete is the biggest key to most of these. Now, just the loose little tiny dolls can sell for some good money. On average, as you can see here, almost $10 a piece across the board. 35 dolls, they went for $317 with 34 bids. Some of these are rare, some are scarce, like the long-haired one with the fiber optics in her hair. the baby, the infant that goes to the hospital. You just got to know your figures and know the difference between the old and the new. Another set, just to give you another example, 34 of them, they went for over $300, so almost $10 a piece across the board on these little figures. Now, they all don't go for 10 bucks. These are from the birthday party playset, which we showed you in the very beginning, the very first one we showed you. This is the complete figures that go to this set. They're extremely easily lost, so some of them, to the pricier sets, can go for some big money. $100 a piece for these little tiny figures. Now, they released them in many different shapes, sizes, and styles. This is a locket, and it has a mermaid inside. It's not very big. It's a small thing a girl or a child could wear around their neck. They had rings, wristwatches, little suitcases, boxes, all sorts of little things like that. This one went for almost $300 because it's extremely scarce. Now, there are also varieties, variations on many of these sets too, with different insides or different unique things that you will find different from one country versus another one. Even in some regions, there are some different ones that I have seen. Now, you will still run into these boxed as well. I have run into many of them boxed. Boxed or not, some of them will sell for some good money either way. Now, this is the Magical Mansion. I have had 3 of these loose, and they average from 75 to over 100 bucks a piece. This lights up as well. The little red car you see in the image there, you hit a little button and it shoots it outside of the garage. There's a little hidden area. You hit some things and it lights up. It comes with people, the whole works. This is fairly scarce. The carriage with the horse is probably the hardest piece to find if it's not included with the set. But either way you go, boxed or not, many of these will go for some good bucks. Now, this is how I usually find them a lot. A lot that kind of goes together. This is an amusement park series. There's a bunch of different play sets that all kind of tie together here. And it looks like they have pretty much the whole thing. I usually, as I said, do find them in lots mostly, and that's it. It's usually somebody had a whole bunch of them, the parents are getting rid of them, they're on a sale or something like that. Even when I've found them at thrift stores, there's usually a bunch of them present. This one went for almost $400 for this lot. You'll see hundreds of lots up going for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Here's another fine example of how I have purchased them in these big, huge lots like this. Now, most people don't know how to identify them. They don't do their homework. They don't want to mess with looking these up or selling them individually. But mostly I will almost always sell these individually because in most cases, if I pay attention, I make sure they're complete, I do my homework, I can get twice what somebody else does if they sell them like this or even if they sell them in smaller lots. Now, here's an example of a newer Mattel version post 1998, and this is from The Little Mermaid. It doesn't look like much. You could run into these still in the wild, still in the box at a garage sale, a flea market, a local live auction, or something like that. Many people won't realize what this is. The Disney part is what's pushed, or the characters themselves. You may have to look a little closer to even realize that some of these are Polly Pockets. Now, there is a decent site out there. It's an older one. It's been around for quite some time, and it's called onlypollypocket.com. And it's got every single Polly Pocket shown year by year. So you will just have to figure out the year, and you should be able to figure out a completeness to it, what the name of it is, what the set is titled, and the whole works. I just clicked on 1989 just to give you an idea here. And as you go through here, all you got to do is compare the outside of the item, and it breaks every single one down. You'll just click on the one that looks like yours. Now, some of them look very similar, so you will have to click on a few probably if you don't know the difference. But once you click on it, it gives you dimensions, names, what's included inside of all of this. There are actually 2 different variations, if you noticed here as well. There's 2 different color schemes to this very same one. It shows you the dolls. It shows whatever else is included extra, which is a jet ski to this one. Now, the biggest, most important aspect of this is being able to distinguish the Bluebird ones from the Mattel ones, especially the figures themselves. Now, if you look at these figures here, they're all very cartoonish. These were made by Bluebird, and these were made like this until 1997. Now, let's look at the 98 ones. If you look at the 98 ones, these are by Mattel. They are bigger and more realistic. Look at the difference in the realisticness of the figures themselves. Very cartoonish and childish. Just look at the faces. Very generic, very basic details on them. As you go to 1998, though, everything changes about the looks, the size, the feel, and the whole works. They're actually much bigger as well. Now, they actually even made a bigger version of this in, I think, 2004. They made 3 3/4-inch dolls with clothing that came off in various different ways. I believe there was a lawsuit against them because of some magnets that they attached to some of the costumes, and they ended up ending that line and recreating it a different way where you'd snap the clothing on. But anyway, that is the biggest factor, being able to tell the difference between the old dolls and the new ones. That will garner you the most money out of them if you can distinguish the difference and be able to add Bluebird to the title. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
There was a glamorous movie star who did the most marvelous things. A little girl named Shirley Temple. She had a pony to play with, drove her own car. She was so beautiful, Ideal has made a doll that looks just like her, a Shirley Temple doll. Same dimples, same golden curls you can really shampoo. And when you kiss her, her skin feels almost real. Your Shirley Temple doll comes all dressed up and just loves to have tea parties with her very own Shirley Temple tea set. Wouldn't you like to have a Shirley Temple doll? You can. She's waiting for you at your favorite toy store, along with the Shirley Temple tea set with Shirley Temple's picture or monogram on every piece.
She's a wonderful doll. She